when 99% accuracy is not enough. I have learned that there is a vast chasm between 99% and perfection. Though it gets harder and harder to improve the closer you get to 100, some people are never satisfied. Maybe you are some people. Please don't be mad at me, but this piece is about you. For these folks, 92 constitutes total failure. I don't understand why perfectionists are like this, and I doubt they understand it either. They just have to be perfect or they've failed. As a non-perfectionist, I regularly run headfirst into the bear trap of their unachievable expectations. Don't get me wrong, I know that sometimes you have to do 100% of a thing. Like when the daredevil attempts to jump over the Grand Canyon, the first 99% of his jump is a complete failure unless he gets the last little bit. It's a binary situation, success or total failure. If he gets 99% of the way across, he falls into the deep canyon like Wile E. the Coyote and blows up on impact. When the International Space Station is 99% sealed against the void, that 1% leak presents a big problem fast, doesn't it? The limited air supply will be vented into the vacuum of space, turning the space station into a terrible death trap. Part of the beauty and challenge of mathematics for me is that it requires this kind of perfection. The equation is either equal or not. It's binary, success or total failure. Math teaches an important life lesson. Sometimes you have to be perfect or you've got nothing at all. When the situation demands this, we should not delude ourselves into taking performance lightly. But not being a math person has also taught me a lesson. We can make an equally lethal mistake on the other side of perfection. Yes, life sometimes demands perfection, but mostly it does not. The immaculate standard is useful for aspiration, but is rarely the prerequisite for success. Let's use driving as an illustration. It can be life or death, can't it? When I am behind the wheel, I try to drive as carefully as possible because I'm operating a potentially deadly weapon. If my commercial driving years taught me anything, it was that if I made a mistake, someone could be hurt or killed. Oh, and my job was on the line too, so if I wanted to feed my family, I better perform. I felt the pressure to make 100% safe decisions. But is that even possible? In my experience, no, it's not. Then I must have had lots of accidents, right? No, my safety record is pretty solid. The truth is that our transportation system is based on a good enough model of safety. Staying in your lane is not the same as staying perfectly centered in your lane. Making a safe turn is not the same as performing the ideal maneuver. Avoiding the crazies is not the same as foreseeing every move they will make and reacting preemptively. It's not perfect, but if you achieve a safe arrival, no one will be mad at you. That's because we define a successful drive differently than a math equation, a space station leak, or a motorcycle jump over a canyon. 90 to 95% gets the job done. It might even be lower. 80% or better might be satisfactory. What do you think? How accurate do you need to be to safely complete any given drive? We should look at our life performance the way we look at our driving performance. Good enough is just that. And no one should give you guff about your 92%. Yet, some people are obsessed with perfection and make themselves miserable trying to achieve it. And they make the rest of us miserable too. I may be a bit lazy as a rule, but I refuse to chase the perfection mirage. I aim for perfection, hit good enough, learn from my mistakes, and count my blessings. Tomorrow is a new game. Baking cookies is another example. If you're feeling peckish, it requires reasonable accuracy, but it doesn't demand perfect measurement, does it? Ever know someone who assembled the ingredients for a batch of chocolate chip like they were building an atomic bomb? What is the benefit of this kind of approach? The cookies turn out amazing. What are the downsides? Time is wasted. Stress is induced. People are deprioritized. The cookies may be better, but only 5 to 8%? Is that really worth it? Not to me. Not to the people the cookies are for. That's a hard message for a perfectionist to hear, but it is true. That brings me to the most important space where we see perfectionism touch real life. Relationships. How should we handle these supercritical pieces of our lives? Is my relationship with my spouse like assembling a bomb where perfection is required? Or is it more like whipping up a batch of treats where 92% works? When I fall short, have I fallen into the canyon and expired in a torrent of flame? Or can I apologize, learn, and try again? I think it is obvious that relationships are not binary. It's not perfection or failure. I tend to think perfection isn't required for relationships at all. Relationships require constant attention, intention, and calibration, like driving and baking. But you don't need to be perfect. Stop stressing out. Sometimes I think we get too obsessed with perfection. We despair. We condemn ourselves. We look down on others for not being perfect like us and therefore disappointing us. We've got to cut that out. I have not been a perfect father or husband or son or brother or neighbor or teacher. Maybe I've been 85 to 90%, but I'm no model of perfection. I'm still aiming high. I'm still trying. But I'm tired of condemning myself for not achieving the immaculate standard. One of my favorite life slogans is, "Don't let perfect become the enemy of good." And I think it applies here. With relationships, we are dealing with people's hearts and souls. That means we are carrying precious cargo. But we aren't trying to jump the canyon with all that on our shoulders. That would be foolish. If you think you are supposed to do that, stop. That's not the point of a relationship. Stop trying to be perfect. You are going to hurt yourself, and probably the ones you love, too. You can't be perfect, and you're accomplishing nothing more than stressing everyone out. Oh, and working yourself to death. No, life is about driving towards healthier destinations, following the map, the Bible, and correcting errors as we notice them. Maybe we don't even have two hands on the wheel, and the Beach Boys are playing on the stereo. The whole family might be singing, "Help me, Rhonda, help me, Rhonda," or something.